Adelaide South Australian conspiracy theories. This is just a general question. What conspiracy theories have you heard in Adelaide and/or South Australia? That a belly flop at the aquatic centre from the highest platform caused an intestine explosion and it has been closed to the public since. The state government ripped up Adelaide's extensive tram network to increase car use to keep GM Holden happy. Someone put razor blades on the Magic Mountain water slides. Does that count? Apparently if you find an empty stubby of West End Draft and put your ear to it you can hear Frank Walker from National Tiles. Peter Van the Party Man sold black market military assault rifles. Tunnels underneath North Terrace that are either catacombs or some bunker. Debunked it for myself while doing work on North Terrace and asked to Sparky if I could walk down them. They're just small service tunnels, very uninteresting. The family. Does anyone else remember being told some crazy murder stories that happened at St. Kilda Playground, at school, or was that just me? From an Victorian, it's obviously the fact that the OTR mafia is the reason all your shops shut early. I still want to know the origin story of Stephen Marshall and Ollie Wines being secret lovers. Adelaide music scene is riddled with grown men that love dating teenagers. Mount the Barton Ice Arena is still in business because it's the state's morgue in case of a major casualty disaster. The OTR founder originally sold weapons and drugs to build their empire. I'm kinda inclined to believe this one. The remains of the Beaumont children were found in a shipping container in the early 70s. That Port Adelaide leading factories are a major cause of some cancers. Above ground and below EPA, state, and local govs all sweeping it under carpet. But the knowledge and data is there. The Crows through the final game of the 2017 AFL season. A classic SA conspiracy is that Sir Paul were connected to the family murders in the 80s since they kept a folder of all reported homosexuals known as the Pink Files so they could be monitored. It seems a bit coincidental that the family murders occurred not long after homosexuality was decriminalized and Sir Paul were forced to close the files. But the great thing about a good conspiracy theory is that there's little to no evidence of SAPOL's involvement. Tunnel from Cape Jarvis to Kangaroo Island. The government deleted BY court order. And they can do it in real time. Even on Reddit. If I never go into the Maya Center again, Dazzleland still exists. Heard the botanical garden is haunted by the inmates of an old psych ward that was once there years before. Rebecca the maternity ward ghost at the Queen Elizabeth, not sure if she is still a thing, but she was when my mum did her nursing there in the 60s and 70s. Rebecca's baby died, and she either died by suicide or accident looking for her baby. My mum says Rebecca was a real patient there who died. That AV54 Farmers Union iced coffee is the best because it was made in the same tank they do classic chocolate. That classic chocolate tang to the FUIC is what makes it a prize. I swear I could taste the difference between AV54 and AV55. Occasionally you would see AV56 and it was supercharged. We used to hunt down those V54s at the servos. Used to go so well with a Dury. Not so much a conspiracy but cool potential story. Always enjoy the multiple sightings of thylacines roaming the Adelaide Hills. Last documented one I saw was about 12 months ago, but there are quite a few, including some videos. Usually attributed to being foxes with who knows. Schneider's Alley supposedly a satanic cult in a rich neighborhood. Face with tears of joy. Can someone please retell the story of Tony McGuinness and his extracurricular activities? Preferably starting with his time at Glenelg, finishing up with him quitting a coaching job at Port Adelaide and fleeing the country. Butchers with a king's crown in their logo or shop front serve human meat. There is a thriving civilization of mole people living in the tunnels under Adelaide. The fireman grave in Cheltenham that winks at you. The fan lady in Rundle Street is a ghost. There is an elephant buried in the car park at Cooper's Ale House, Jepp's Cross. True stuff, Google it. Nuclear waste from Maralinga was buried at DSTO, now the RAF base. It was meant to be shipped back to England, but due to costs it was buried here in 44-gallon drums. Everything about atomic bomb testing at Maralinga. I mean WTAF? I heard of Bigfoot sightings deep in the Adelaide Hills. I was told as a kid that the playground outside the North Adelaide Aquatic Centre, which used to have a maze which was floor to above kid height, was changed because of paedophiles hiding in the maze, hurting kids while their parents couldn't see. I will say my mum was clearly worried about paedophiles, so this argument has been used to explain a few things, so maybe not true. I've heard Adelaide referenced as a child trafficking hub. Not all of those bodies they're digging up at Riverlea Estate are Aboriginal. The family murders. Beaumont of Beaumont Tiles abducted the Beaumonts. Farmers' Union is people. There are tunnels that run beneath Minder at North Brighton and to the Sacred Heart College. When Minder first started hundreds of years ago, they would move the high behavioral clients underground when showing notable people around campus, and some of the disabled got lost in the underground, which lead to them now being known as the Mole People. I've been at the Minder campus before and know where the entrances are, but not game enough to go exploring. Yatina Hotel, Yatina. Just found out about the Somerton Man. I've been in the tunnel system under the show grounds. It's all closed with big bars now. Got in through storm water. Not a conspiracy, but a possible urban myth. We call the small glass of beer a butcher, other states call it a pony. The story goes that there was once a slaughter yard where the new medical district is, on the west end of North Terrace opposite the Newmarket Hotel. When the workers' butchers had smoko, they would pop over to the Newmarket for a smoke and a quick small beer. Henceforth, we have called that size beer a butcher. I once heard a conspiracy that South Australia is a good place to live. Could never believe it. Definitely gooby woobies in the tunnels, hard to get proof though. Tunnel under Holdens that run to the RAF base. Heard that one a lot as a kid. Dude who did the Wollonga murders. 10 victims, 8 of them kids, found sane, sentenced to death, commuted to life, released after 8 years in prison, given a new identity and lived happily ever after. That rip starter performed by inmates at Yatala prison, tubing, barbed wire. Somerton Man was Douglas Mawson returning from the dead. The new road in Gawler that cut around the back to Springwood comes out at Potts Road because OTR paid for it to. 2 guys snuck into waterworks at night and went down the water slides on chairs. The Adelaide Mole People that live in the old tunnels under the CBD. A well-known craniofacial surgeon, the only well-known one, was tied up with the family murders. Not really a conspiracy per se, but well-known barrister Paul Hayward Smith KC is a supporter of Hamas, and wrote an article earlier this year calling for the Australian government to delist them as a terrorist organisation. The Beaumont children case will never ever be solved. If they ever did that, it would be a shit show for lots of people. Mad Monks was haunted by headless ghosts. Necessary evil is done in the Druid Hall to keep us all safe. Mount Thebe was on standby as a morgue during the pandemic. I know 2 people in the know who have differing opinions on this. My favourite is that before the last election, the religious wing SDA Union of the Labour Party conspired with the religious wing of the Liberal Party to eliminate the Lib moderates and Menzies Liberals. The religious wing of the Labour Party also controlled Family First, so for a couple of months Peter Malinauskas controlled 3 SA political parties and the media didn't even notice. Somewhere around Wingfield Jeps area there's actually the components of a leftover British atomic bomb. It can be assembled if we need it. Got no source. Just what I was told by someone ex-military. I heard that the Heritage Railway clock had to be replaced. It was sent for maintenance and the company went bankrupt and no one could find it. Can't quite remember if they found the original. Chances are though Cozy drove the getaway car, possibly a Black and Black Thunder car, lol.